Hello, Thunder Wizards. So, today we're going to be talking about how does romantic relationships, love relationships, partnerships, marriage, how does this affect your ability to manifest prosperity and success? So, this is the Manifestation Mastery Series number 19A. And it's very important that you watch this entire video because at the end of this video, I'm going to direct you to how you can figure out the one question. It's a yes or no question that will tell you what you need to do in terms of your relationship in order to begin the journey of becoming prosperous and successful through your powers of manifestation. Okay? So, by the way, do subscribe and hit the bell button so that you will be notified whenever I upload a video. Okay, so relationships and success. You know, in modern Western society, we tend to intellectualize everything and we tend to compartmentalize everything. We are under this illusion that our lives are compartmentalized. I've got my job over here. I've got my relationship over here. I've got my kids over here. I've got my health over here. I've got my spirituality over here. And they're all in their own little box. And in your mind, one can be really crappy and one can be really good. But the truth of the matter is that they're all interconnected. You know, it's a holographic ball, you know, depending on where you look. If you touch it here, it's going to affect things over here. Touch it here, it's going to affect things over here. Something happens in the center, it's going to radiate out. So your all of the aspects of your life are like this. So you can't have prosperous, happy, money, and debilitating, disgusting, horrible relationship. Now, it is possible that some people have a lot of money and they have horrible relationships, but I can promise you that their prosperity and their success gives them no joy. Again, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson had all the money, all the fame, all the influence, all the respect, all the everything, you know, all the achievements that you could possibly want, and he still ended up ODing on the most powerful opiate humanly possible. That's what his money gave him, the ability to OD on the most powerful opiate out there. So we can't just isolate success and take it away from relationships, especially if you are somebody who has had challenges in regards to relationships and money. If you've had challenges in regards to money and you are one of those people like me where you just tried and tried and tried, and no matter how hard, you just can't seem to catch a break, and no matter what you do, I can guarantee you, if that's the case, I'm almost 100% sure that you also have similar issues regarding your relationship. So, we need to be talking about what relationship means and how this connects to your ability to manifest. So, relationships. We go after relationships because we want to feel good. We want to be loved and we want nurturing and we want sex and we want somebody to talk to and we want, you know, all the comforts that come with that. But the truth is that relationships are here for another reason. Relationships are what the soul uses to work through blocks towards full, complete awareness. Because even if you are a monk off in the middle of the woods with a begging bowl and you don't have any relationships, then you have to have a relationship with the infinite. So you still have to have the merging of masculine and feminine, but you're not doing it through another person. You're doing it with the universe. So what I'm sharing, it doesn't matter whether you're single or you're in a relationship. It is going to, you know, your issues with relationships in general are going to have a huge effect on your ability to manifest. So first let's talk about what is money, what is success. You think of money as those green pieces of paper or those numbers on your bank account, but they're not. Money to your unconscious mind symbolizes love, acceptance, approval, and support. It represents that to your unconscious mind. And so think about it. If you're watching this and you struggle with money, like you are like in panic, if you have, like palpable feelings of stress about money, it means that on an unconscious level, you do not feel loved and supported by your mother, the universe. This is why it's so important to work through your issues. And again, this is why people who win the lottery, those of you listening to me who think if I just win the lottery, it'll all be okay. And you'd be surprised how many people say that to me. When I ask them, what is it that you really want? They'll say, I want to win the lottery. I go, that's not what you want. They go, yes, it is. If I had X amount of money, I could give that to my parents and I could pay these bills and then I could do all the things that I want. And then I would have time to do my meditation and all the other things that you teach us to do. I say, no, it wouldn't solve anything. Money is not what you want. What you think is that money will give you safety. But what's really going on is underneath, you want to feel loved. People who are successful feel loved, no matter how much money they have. If they are somebody that they honestly feel empowered and confident and successful, whether they're a janitor or whether they are a billionaire, they feel loved and supported by the universe. So, everything is a projection. We've talked about this in terms of your success and your money, but relationships are also your projection. So, ideally, what happens is that as we go through life, we need to work through our issues regarding our connection to the universe. That's what the soul is here to do. The soul is actually wanting to deepen its connection to the infinite. So it comes here to intensify under this microscope, because this life is a microscope. That's why it's so intense. That's why it's either so happy or so miserable. It's a microscope. We live under this microscope of human life so that the soul can really focus on what its issues are, what it needs to overcome. And the soul is looking to connect to infinity. And so this life is this intense experience of bumping into our issues having to do with connecting to infinity. So we have relationships so that we will be with a partner who will reflect back to us our truest, authentic self, which of course is the soul. It's the mirror that the soul looks at and can see its true self. Now that sounds wonderful, and everybody watching this is going, oh yes, if only I could have that. If I had a partner who would just reflect to me my true essence. But what you don't realize is that that is also the most frightening thing for you. Because in order to move past the blocks towards your connection to infinity, you have to let go of your identity, who you think you are. You have to let go of your fears. You have to let go of your desires. And your partner is the person who is that mirror for you. Now, this is in an ideal universe. In an ideal universe, you find that person who reflects back to you your perfect self. It elevates you up to another level and you achieve bliss and happiness and success. But that does not happen if you have unconscious psychological karmic issues. So what ends up happening, those who are, who don't have a lot of childhood or past life trauma in association with relationships, they will manifest a partner who will reflect them back to themselves and they will achieve their success and their happiness. If you are like me, then you've come into this life with a good chunk of past life karma and You may have gone through some childhood dysfunction, toxicity, and trauma. And that makes it even more difficult to have a functional relationship. Why? Because everything is a projection. So if you have been imprinted by your parents to love yourself, accept yourself, feel confident, then you are going to project that in your partner, meaning you will manifest a partner who will reflect that. That's why, when we connect with people and it's like, I don't know what it is about her, she just has this something and I don't know what it is. Well, it means there's an unconscious connection. Now, that's neither good nor bad because in the unconscious you have your dharma, you have your soul desire. So you might truly be connecting to her or him on a soul desire, and that's what's coming out. But we also connect on all of our damage. So if you have been damaged, if you have been traumatized, if your parents were not able to reflect back to you your true essence as you were growing up, if they projected onto you their own insecurities and their own fears, which is, exactly what happens. Here's the thing, you can't avoid it. You can't be a serial killer by day and a perfect parent by night. You can't do it. Whatever it is that you do, you're gonna give that to your kids. And so the kids will pick up all of it. They get taught everything. Everything gets taught from the parents, even if it's unspoken. So you come into this life and whatever your parents have imprinted you with, positive or negative, healthy or toxic, you are going to project that into your external environment through your relationships. What does this have to do with success and money, you're asking me? Well, because as we've said before, your ability to manifest your success has to do with your ability to project from your strengths, not your false weaknesses. So there's oftentimes this scenario that I've seen. I've experienced it, and I see it over and over again with my clients, which is that they know all the right things to do. They meditate, they do yoga, they do a lot of self work. They, go through all, they live healthy, they do all this. They take action. They follow my direction, they take action. In fact, here's a scenario that happens a lot with me. And I'm not speaking about any one person, so don't think I'm talking about you. This is something that pretty much generally happens with a certain group of people that come to work with me. So I get a lot of people who want to come and work with me on a one-on-one basis, who want help and counseling. First off, they usually come to me wanting to learn shamanism and spiritual stuff, meditation, qigong, ritual, all that kind of stuff, which is fine. I love teaching that because that teaches us the same stuff that we're talking about now. And then when they get to a certain point and they've absorbed a lot of that, then we start talking about relationships. And one of the main complaints that comes up with people is that they've been struggling their whole life trying to achieve success, and they the normal things, they're afraid, they don't feel worthy, valuable, life has it in for them. And I start working with them and we find out what your soul desire is, and you learn how to start taking fearless action. You're scared to death, but you do it anyway. You put yourself out there, you start that business, whatever it is. And then you really start to see some success. And then you really get scared. I know it sounds weird, but then you get scared, be careful what you ask for. And then you have to work through your unconscious blocks, really come up, and you have to work through them. I'm going to sneeze, hang on. Excuse me. All right, and then what ends up happening is that now they start having some success. And then we start talking about their partner, their husband, their wife, their boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. And so I hear a lot of complaints. And what I'll find out is that the husband. It's usually the husband. Like this happens a lot with women, but it's not only with women, but it's the husband. And the husband is draining all of her energy out of her. And she's working two jobs. And she's doing all the cooking and all the cleaning, and she's taking care of the kids, and she's taking care of him. And, and he's just not pulling his weight. He's not doing his part. And so what I hear is, I don't have the money because it's all going into him, and he won't get a job, or he won't do this, or he won't do that. And bottom line is, she's feels like she's doing all the work. So if she had enough money, if she could win the lottery, then she would have enough money to pay off his bills and make sure he had what he needed, and then she wouldn't feel so responsible and angry, and then she could have the time to go do what she wanted. I hear this over and over again. And so what has happened is that relationships are also a projection of your internal experience of yourself. And so that's why, working with me will revolutionize everything in your life. Not just your finances, but it will also revolutionize your relationships. Because relationships are nothing more to your unconscious than the symbol of the universe. And what we seek in relationships is we're seeking to either replicate the love and the nurturing we got from our mother, or we are seeking to replicate the problems that we got from our mother and our father, and we're trying to fix it this time. So if your mother was unavailable emotionally, or if your mother came at you and attacked your integrity and criticized you, if you got messed with and you felt betrayed, and whatever it is that they did or didn't do, you are going to manifest a partner who will be that exact thing, because the strategy, number one, is you're trying to get what your unconscious thinks is love, and if it thinks abuse is love, it will manifest abuse in order to have what it thinks is love. But the second thing it's trying to do is it's trying to fix the problem. So it's like it's trying to go back in time and get your mother to love you the way you deserve. But this time you're going to try and do it with your partner. So you manifest a partner who does, on some level, the same thing that your parents didn't do for you. And you're going to try and fix them so that they give you the love that you want. One of the ways that we do that is we project. So this is when people save, when you get a project. You find somebody and you want to save them. And if I could just let them know how much I love them, if they knew how much I loved them, then it would be okay, and then they would feel happy, and then they would love me back, and we would rule the world. What's really happening is that's you. What you're doing to that other person is what you want for yourself. You want somebody to save you and to heal you. Of course, that's all on an unconscious level. But the truth is that if somebody came along that gave you what it is you think you want, it would be so frightening to you, you would reject it, or you would find it boring. This is a real common thing. People who like to get involved in toxic relationships, when a healthy person comes along and you go out on a date with them, you go, yeah, he's really nice and I like him, but he's just boring. That means he's not stimulating your unconscious issues that you're trying to fix. So true love can be very frightening. And so is success. The reason why success and prosperity is so frightening when you start to heal and overcome it is because it represents being loved and accepted. If your parents either verbally or energetically told you were a piece of crap, then you've been imprinted that that's what you need to be to have a relationship with the universe. You need to be a piece of crap in order for the universe to love you. That's why, Abrahamic religions work so well. That's why Christianity and Islam work so well, because, Allah and Jehovah and, all that, they hate your guts. They want to throw you in hell and destroy you. They will. In fact, they'll cut your head off if you just slightly screw up. That's that projection is pretty clear. It's a very clear projection of, you know, what goes on. So, when somebody works with me, and if they have trauma and tragedy in either past lives and or their previous or their childhood, then by working with me, I can guide them to take the action to take contrary action, to take actions that are frightening, that go against their programming. They learn how to have all their negative feelings, their fear and their anxiety, and they still take action anyway. And they start to see success. Because remember, up here, neo.thunderwizard.com, the third rule is learning the 5 rules to master the matrix. The matrix doesn't respond to your emotions, as you've been taught. The matrix responds to your actions. Action is what tells the universe that you are serious about being successful. When you take fearless action, the universe goes, they're serious. Give them some success, give them some money. The universe doesn't go, oh, but he looks so scared. Oh, I can feel the fear in him. The universe doesn't care. The universe doesn't care if you feel happy and sit on the edge of your bed and do nothing. It cares the actions that you take. And then it responds. So that's the good news. You don't have to monitor your feelings. You don't have to have the correct feelings to get the correct response. Can you see the projection here, by the way? Now, I just really realized it. The secret, the law of attraction as it is taught, is codependence. I just saw that. I just now saw that. It is absolutely the projection of codependence, because what happens to codependent people? They can't tolerate when somebody is upset with them. They can't tolerate it. If you're in an abusive relationship with somebody, and if they don't feel loving towards you, you will do anything to get them to love you. What is it you want me to do? You want me to damage myself? You want me to serve you? What is it you want me to do just so that you'll love me? I can't tolerate you being upset. I can't tolerate feeling responsible for your feelings. Codependence. And that's projected onto the universe. So what do they teach you? You have to have perfect, wonderful feelings. And if you have perfect, wonderful feelings, then the universe will respond with its perfect, wonderful feelings. If you have negative feelings, if you have fear, if you have anxiety, if you have pain, if you have depression, sadness, the universe is going to hold back, and it will only bring you sadness. I just realized that is so incredibly dysfunctional. It is so toxic. It is so codependent. Because when you truly love somebody, if you got a 4-year-old kid, and your 4-year-olds go through temper tantrums, and part of being a good parent is, having boundaries. And when they want to eat a whole bag of cookies, you say, no, you can have 1 cookie, but you can't have the whole bag. And the child screams and yells and pounds on the floor. If you aren't able to love them and say, I love you, I know that you really want that cookie, but you're not going to get it. I still love you. And the child looks at you and says, I hate you, mommy. I hate you, daddy. And you go, I know. And you hug them anyway. And you tell them, it's okay. I still love you. Go play. We don't allow the universe to do the same thing. In the law of attraction, the universe can't tolerate your uncomfortable feelings. It means that the whole idea of the law of attraction, what you vibrate is what comes back to you, has the assumption that the universe is a dysfunctional parent. How many of you have had dysfunctional parents? You better stop that crying. You better turn that frown upside down, mister. I'll give you something to cry about. Right? A dysfunctional parent that is reactive to your feelings instead of accepts you and cares about your actions. Again, the loving parent says, I know you really want to have a cookie, but if you go and clean your room, blah, 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 we'll do this and we'll go online and whatever. I'll take you to the store and buy you a toy. We reward positive action with positive things. We're not going to give them, if you clean your room, I'll give you, a pound of raw cookie dough. We give them something positive. We teach them that even if they're upset and angry, mommy and daddy still loves me, and now I'll go do this thing that is good for me, and mommy and daddy will help me. This is how the universe responds. I just realized it. Up here, the 5 rules to master the matrix is about learning how to have a mature, functional relationship with the universe. I just realized that. So, love and money and relationships and success. So at some point, if you're in a dysfunctional relationship, remember you're either that you are doing 2 things simultaneously. You are projecting your experience of what you grew up with as a little kid, your mom and your dad, what you think love is. And number 2, you are manifesting and projecting what you know you didn't get, and you're going to try and fix it this time. And that never works. You have to fix yourself first. This is why the 5 rules to master the matrix. If you want to know how, it's the answer to everything. If you want to have a relationship, a loving relationship, you've got to learn the actions that the universe responds positively to. Okay? So, what ends up happening with the client at some point, let's go back to the example, which has happened many times. I'm not talking about any one individual. It's happened many times. It's a woman. She's been around on the planet for a few decades. She's struggled her whole life, came from a dysfunctional home. Mom and dad did not love and support her or teach her how to love herself. She's gone through life. She's a very spiritual person. She does all the right things. She ended up marrying somebody that turned out to be somebody who also was damaged and broken. She has taken over the responsibility to care for him emotionally, as well as feed the kids and clean the house and potty the dogs and take care of all the payments. She's working 2 jobs to make all that happen, and she's still going to take care of him. And someday, if she makes enough money, someday he'll come around and he'll feel powerful enough in himself, and he'll turn around and love her and give her the strength that she's been aching for this whole time. And when we start working together and we start talking, and she starts taking action on all the things that I'm telling her to do, then what ends up being left is the relationship. And we talk about that. Now, I shouldn't say I never. I almost never talk people out of relationships. The only time I will do that is if the person is being abused and it's really, it's really bad news. And then I'll say, listen, you got to call the cops or you got to get out of there. But if it's just normal, run-of-the-mill dysfunction, which is not okay. But if it's the normal run-of-the-mill dysfunction, it's not my job to do that unless they ask, what do you think? And then I say, I don't know, what is it that you want? And we start talking about that. But at some point, they start to come to the realization on their own. And they don't always tell me. Sometimes they'll tell me, but more often than not, I can sense in the discussion that they're starting to go there. Like I'll ask questions and then there'll be this silence on the end of the phone, which will mean that I know what they're thinking is, this relationship isn't working. And they start to realize that if they want success, they can't be with this person because this person, isn't capable of supporting them and helping them. And in fact, this person can't tolerate the idea of them having success and will sabotage it. And so, as always, when it comes to following your soul desire, we will always run into the same lesson over and over again in different ways, which is you will have to make a choice between what your soul wants, which gives you the greatest joy in your life, or what other people or God or the universe or you will have to make a choice between what you want and what other people want or what you think you're supposed to want. And it will be frightening. You will feel like you're betraying people. It will feel on an unconscious level as though you're killing them. This is how serious it is. This is why people seemingly just can't get past that one block because they're afraid they're going to kill their parents or their spouse just by doing their own thing. And oftentimes the spouse will get in their way and say, I don't like you doing that, and why are you doing that? They feel unconsciously insecure. And, it's like, alcoholics. One person gets sober, the alcoholic one, doesn't like that, wants you to drink again so that they can have a drinking buddy. When it comes to misery and, poverty and all that kind of stuff, like seeks like. So if you're not on the same page with them, they're going to cause problems and make it very challenging to be with you. So, there is a very simple question. It's a yes or no question. It's very simple. It's not easy to follow through on, but it's a very simple question, which will tell you exactly what you need to do in regards to your relationship in order to achieve your success. If you are able to be if you are able to be honest and fearless when I ask you this question, whatever answer comes out of it will dictate what you need to do in terms of your relationship in order to achieve your success. So if you want to learn that, you got to go up to thunderwizard.com or neo.thunderwizard.com. When you get to thunderwizard.com, I want you to click on Manifestation Mastery Course, and you're going to go and watch video 19B, which will be the second video to this one. And I'm going to give you that question, and then depending on your answer, I will tell you exactly what it is that you need to do, and I'm telling you it works every time. But you have to be willing, and I want to ask you, how serious are you about being successful? I mean, if you're not prepared to do absolutely anything, then there's only so much that the universe can do for you. Only so much I can do for you. I can only point you in the direction. You got to do it. So I'll see you over at thunderwizard.com. Click on Manifestation Mastery Course and then watch video 19B. I will give you that question, and then I'll tell you exactly what to do, and we'll talk about what you can do after that to clean up and to move on and to skyrocket into your success and your happiness, okay? I'll see you over there.